Orange Rock are the rhino, and Bigatron currently the elephant. Like, it's very difficult to, even you get in their way, they're going to absolutely just destroy you. It's very scary. Luckily for a couple of the other teams, there have been some pretty standout performances, and I think that there are some other big animals in the lobby that can start to make their way to the top of the food chain here.
Absolutely. Southern Plain here, Blank, going to be going from just south of Quarry over towards Milter Power. So teams like who we saw, who do we see? Saverni.
Calling it now.
Oh, we're seeing a Saverni circle.
You do like Saverni.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to go to Udo, see if they're going to get that circle. But it's going to be pretty tricky for them to get to Saverni in the first place with this plane. It's places like Saverni and Kameshki as well that are pretty inaccessible with this plane path.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Udo running up to Yasnaya to pick up some vehicles, which was just madness to me. I do enjoy it. You know, Froz is a very chilled out guy in real life, and but then like, I'll ask him a question, and then suddenly there'll be like a flood of answers that I'll get from him. Like, wow, okay, the analysis is real. So yeah, I mean, that's just what happens when you start asking him questions. So Kalaris, better be prepared next time, you know.
Fair enough. You know, you start asking something, he's going to break it down for you.
He's going to break it
down.
But then
again, he asked for a fox as a spirit animal.
He did ask for a fox, so slightly disappointed.
That's kind of that's kind of weird, dude.
That it makes a lot of noise for us. Have you heard those things? They scream.
They scream really loud.
Scream really loud. You're alerting yourself for third parties. All I'm saying.
TSM Entity, close quarters with Cronson from Nova Godlike, and they're going to try and take this fight. Has a little bit of backup for the rest of the squad. That's going to be the easy point. Picked
bada bing,
up.
Bada boom.
Jonathan.
Oh my.
Oh, they were going for the.
I'd wear this.
Punch out flush. That is one hell of an outfit from Jonathan.
Yeah, I'd wear that. That'd be my outfit.
That's a Hokage outfit.
This is why I want to get like all the top 5 like fashion shows. I want to get a fashion show on the show. You know,
absolutely.
The players.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'd be ready for that. I'd watch that.
You know, PUBG Mobile's got some cool skins in the game. Like, let's show them off.
Like bright pink UASs.
Like bright pink UASs. Like, give me the full ensemble. I want to see you standing with your vehicle.
This is an interesting rotation here for Nova Godlike. They're sending more players near towards TSM Entity. And in fact, you still got Neo to contend with, who's riding out to try and contest him. It's Road Wars here. Goodness me. Right, going to be under the cosh from TSM Entity, but able to send for the hills. Just a little lick of damage as Neo lets him get away with it.
Yeah, just about gets out of that. That was a scary coastal run from Nova Godlike there. You know what would have been nice though is to have the intense music from the beginning of the game just during that whole sequence. It was like a James Bond or a Johnny English sequence, because apparently after we'd mentioned that not many people get that cultural reference, everyone's like, you know what, we love Johnny English. Johnny English is a big show.
He is a cool guy and he saves the world twice.
Exactly. Albeit in a slightly weird format, but he does save the world.
Gets the job done. And that's what matters at the end of the day. I mean, you know, even if one of these teams gets a winner chicken dinner by doing nothing and just going 4 players split opposite corners of the map, if they win it, fair enough.
You know who else gets the job done? You do, Gang John. They've actually made their way up to Savannah despite the blame path.
But the circle as well, Blank, here, it did head out towards the west, centering near Gatka and Gatka Field.
Yeah. That it did, John. So this actually does provide a decent rotational path for you do Gang coming over from the top side of shooting range into Georgia Paul, passing the bridge, and then going to scout over Mount Everest. So you've got a decent pathing for yourself going forward, even wherever this goes. But, you know, Kalaris was talking about field finishes, and, you know, the west side of the map, it's notorious for it, especially to the south of Gatka. But currently, Team Secret are holding down the majority of here. But No Chance Team also towards Quarry side, just holding on the ridge side of that area, maybe trying to gatekeep Reject Scarlet, who they unfortunately keep coming into a clash with.
The guys on the desk were talking about the combat between Orange Rock and Bigatron Red Aliens for the top spot, but I would urge you not to sleep on Udo Gank here, right? They are currently sat on a 14.3 point average, which is just over a point behind Bigatron Red Aliens. Now, that's going to be an 8-point difference over all of the 8 games we have here. Moving into this next weekend, and that is very easily surmountable, even just in a single game. And they have 2 games left to do it, so we'll see if they're able to have a good showing here. If they do, they could definitely challenge for those top spots. You do Gank, watch out for them.
Okay, I will comment on that in a second, but I just saw BTR, I think it was Zuxi, shoot out the passenger seat on the motorbike, and I don't know why he did that. And then get in it and drive it away.
Stops you swerving, maybe?
Stop you swerving, apparently.
Okay.
Apparently it's quick turns. Quick turns? The desk is trying to tell me what it means, but like through hand signals.
Fair enough.
Come over here, Kalaris. Tell me.
Yeah, okay, you go and have your talk. I'm going to talk about the game. T1 currently rolling straight up into Udo Gank over in Severny. And they are going to sail straight on past. Youngjun doesn't want to stop and take this fight, but they do mount up on the western side of Severny, which means that they do have a little bit of a presence here, and they could potentially block these rotations. But Udo Gank have their secret fourth man, Parang, outside on the western edge near that shooting range.
So we just got word from the Froz.
The Froz, did you ask him a question?
The analyst Froz and Co. He said and Co. He did include the rest of the desk. You know, he's a nice guy. Apparently it's for more control, which you can just see the observers quickly move off that player because he has no control.
Zero control.
Zero
None
control.
of it. You think he's got... No. You stop thinking that right now.
Stop thinking that right now. No control, mate.
Absolutely.
Observers have decreed it.
Absolutely. Bigitron, the team that we were talking about before, they are just every time they loot around farm, they loot just towards the south, just out to the west of Milta, and then they make some really quite strong rotations. We've talked about how Bigitron are a team that knows exactly where they're going every single moment of the game, and it's really, really impressive to see. So looking at this circle, what sort of paths do they have available?
So looking at this circle, John, I think honestly, I don't think they're going to be moving too much because you can come past Potato Hill, right, get a decent vantage point from here, but they will know that with the plane path, there's going to be quite a few teams up towards the mansion split. There's going to be GXR Celts who like to play Milta. You level up rounds here too. I'm not sure they'll know too much about Freestyle considering they've only played one day. I don't know how much research they've already put in, but I imagine that they're going to play this slow on the edge side and try and make their way into the circle early, purely because there are not many compounds available to use within this circle because it is mostly fields. Oh, you level up on our screen, they're rotating. Just right behind them is Synergy, so there potentially is a fight between them coming very shortly. But BTR are just crunching their way towards GXR Celts, who are currently rotating at the same time, but it looks like they have stopped within a compound just within the circle, and this is what I expected from them. Now they're going to figure out what the next play is.
There's a lot of teams who have already made their way central as well. Blank Team Secret have got a pretty central spot. They've got control of one of the compounds at the foothills of Everest, which is a really strong rotational control
this is
point.
where they dropped, right?
You've got Reject Scarlet as well. Nova Godlike just to the north of Quarry, and we've got plenty of teams vying for that piece of control.
We also have RRQ, another team that we're constantly talking about with some excellent players on board like G9, Beer, who's just this close range specialist, and he's pulled out some fantastic plays. So we've got RRQ now in the lobby. I'm excited to see what these guys can do during this game. Team Secret, they're very, very close, and I think that right now you have one of the players, I believe it is D2E, just coming up across towards two of the players from Team Secret just on the south side of the mountain.
GXR Celts, they are making a beeline for the south edge of this, I say edge, sorry, the south side of these fields near Gatka, and they're going to try and take some control there. We'll see where they do opt to mount up, and it looks like they want to go for a little bit of a hillside to control some of that high ground, which, when you're playing towards those fields, can be really, really effective.
It's very true, John. See what kind of ground they can cover, what kind of place they can set up in. Freestyle seem to be fairly okay at finding a compound to reside in, but right now this one's very much on the eastern edge of the circle, so they will have to get a shifty on and then a little bit, but we're going to get the next circle coming on our screens in just a few moments. Udo, as you can see, starting to make their way down from Severny. Again, they've got that easy path through Georgia Pole, but T1 currently in that location, and now we're going to center up a little bit towards Hospital as well as these fields towards the south side. Currently, though, we've got a huge chunk of players on the south side of the circle, and that's to be expected, especially with the plane path we saw at the beginning here, and Team IND now finally making their approach from Sosnovka military base.
T1 did manage to get all the way to North George in their pursuits after that coastal rotation that we saw, and they managed to get some loot on board, so they'll have control of a little bit of the northern side. TSM Entity making their way down south now from South George, so there are a few teams that might vie for control around Everest, as is actually Team Secret who have taken control of the top of it for now. And they are going to have Mad Toy up there as their resident sniper.
Yeah, Mad Toy will be able to just get some research done, but there's no chance Team actually popping a player out of the vehicle. We're seeing Rocks here trying to take some shots back towards them within the chopsticks.
Now we're going to have a little bit of luck here, and They'll be able to hold it down for now. It's a very dangerous spot to hold in the chopsticks, Blank. It's so open to teams just crashing into you or throwing nades in, and then you're pretty scuppered, right?
Yeah, what you ideally would want to do here is take a couple of off angles. I think they're more important here so that you can make sure teams don't just crash upon you, like you say, especially at this point, because it just becomes like a cage arena. And if you can get one player dropping in and then you have someone who just watches on tops and just fires onto you, using that ridgeline as like a fire break for yourself, it becomes pretty difficult. Wwcd still on the north side, obviously T1 still heading up here too, but I think TSM Entity, you mentioned them earlier, is an interesting one to talk about because they looted crates, they came down to hospital, and now they're just heading towards the base of Mount Everest. Now, I think that we can comfortably say, John, that they should be fairly looted up. They should have nice guns on board, good gear, as well as a lot of resources towards the end of the game. If they can hold down this position, it will be fantastic for them because they pretty much have a windbreak in the terms of Mount Everest. They only really have to worry about the significant rotation on the road side, just on the western side of Mount Kresnik itself, which is an obvious rotational path. Oh, my God, bro, almost died. And they'll, wow, what's going on with my voice now?
It's all right. Do you want to take a minute? Take a sip of water?
No, continue for me. Finish my sentence.
Okay. I can't remember what you were saying. You interrupted yourself, but I'm sure that's fine. GXR Celts, they are currently holding down the end of this chopstick, and they're vying for control of it with No Chance team here. And it looks like they had maybe 1 or 2 shots on, but they weren't quite able to land them. Both teams now aware of each other's presence, and that's going to be interesting when a lot of other teams come towards them because, you know, if they're locked in this fight already, teams are going to know about it.
Yeah, so now I'm back from defeating the Grim Reaper. He did try and come just take me a couple of moments ago. What I was trying to say was that TSM Entity were holding down the classic rotational path up past Hostel towards Georgiapol, and now they're moving down. So they've cleared a lot of angles. They should be fine. They're just looking for a position to stay now and just crossing these fields early because they know that once the next circle hits, people will crunch together a little bit more, and these crossings that they're making right now will be even more obvious.
Ooh, you level up, taking fire from Synergy. CRV with the DP up close, trying to look for it, but not quite able to get that full damage. They're out on the eastern side, just out of the west of Pachinki. As the next circle pops, it centers up again on the fields. We've had some very central shrinks in this previous circle and this circle as well. It's going to take teams closer and closer together and actually further and further towards the fight between GXR Celts and No Chance team.
Yeah, and I mean, RRQ, though, they have the central position. TSM, I think, is good for them that they actually made that crossing early right now. It makes a lot of sense. People will be looking out towards the western side. They'll have to deal with Nova Godlike as well as Reject Scarlet, who are currently on the path that they just left. And you can see them here versus Nova Godlike just moving their way down. But it's also teams like T1 and Wwcd have to make their way down from the northern side. But pretty much the north side of the circle is completely free.
They'll have a lot of control over the ground there. But if the circle moves away from them, they might have a tricky time of it. Synergy locked in combat with King of Gamers now on the eastern side. As again, the shots are going to rattle on through. Bigatron taking control of one of the other chopstick. And actually might be taking a fight towards No Chance team as well. GXR Celts, they've got some backup.
They do, which is nice. Also not nice because it's BTR who is your backup, and they could be quite easily the enemy very, very shortly. Horizon with nades in hand. We talk about the nades from BTR quite often. Let's see why. That's why.
Straight on to Choconut and will find half HP. Cooks another, sends it up to the sky, sends straight on over. But this time it's not going to find anything. Heineken bunkered down, but that one finds some damage. Okay, Choconut trying to heal up, trying to heal through it. No stims left on board. Has some bandages, has a first aid, so it'll be all right for now. Team Secret, though, they're going aggressive against Nova Godlike. 1 to fall. And they're trying to lob out some nades to dissuade the next push. Rex goes in, but is going to get taken down by that pre-cooked nade. 2 players down, but it's another to fall for Nova Godlike, and both of the players in this building should get flushed out by Mad Toy.
And a really important knock there from Mad Toy too, because you saw the player from Nova Godlike Vampire actually going for the flushes on these 2 players. And if, you know, we already have Rex down for Team Secret, they could really not afford any other players going down for Team Secret there. Mad Toy being the last member alive, you need at least 3 players to go for a decent assault at these field endings.
Just Smokey left for Nova Godlike, and they do need a few good games to try and push them over the edge. They're currently sat in 19th place, Blank, 3.7 average, so they do need a lot more points than they currently have to be moving forwards. Ryzen has been knocked in the meantime for Bigatron. No Chance team seem to be going quite well. The nades are raining on through, and Ryzen, his health bar's ticking down.
Yeah, but PTR here can be pretty patient with how this one works forward. They don't really often fly upon an early knock here. I mean, it's the first one, there's a lot of time to wait, so they can just kind of clear the angles, get those smokes down, and then start to move forward. No Chance know that in most teams, if they don't hesitate, they've got no patience, they'll start running in early and they can kind of just throw the nades in and hope for the best. But No Chance kind of locked down other than this, so this will be an easy resurrection with BTR with the little amount of patience they have. We have had another shift here, which will move directly on top of Box Game, and they've got a really nice compound, but RRQ, they're waiting in the wings. They could go for a really big push onto this and take it for their own. Team IND, though, on the other hand, they're flying in from the south side, grouping up as a 4. Kratos obviously moving forward. He's the spearhead of the team.
The military base looters, Team IND, moving in from the south side, very near to Team Secret. But they've got Freestyle as well at their back, so they may need to worry about later on as the circle shifts them in closer. No Chance team still locked in this battle as GXR Celts really have traded off this aggression with Bigatron.
Now, I remember back in the global finals watching BTR actually hold down the chopsticks so incredibly well. And here's that replay there. Rex comes in. I believe he actually was the one who was finished by Vampire. Flies around the corner and they at least get 1 point to themselves. Yeah, there we go.
That is unfortunate, but he does go down, and Team Secret still right into the rest of the game. 3 players alive, so we'll see what they can get done there. No Chance team lobbing out these smokes as Nova Godlike get eliminated. Smokey was finally found and taken down. You2 now starting to go for the first fight of the game, but it doesn't seem to be going their way. GXR Celts holding down the north end of that chopstick beautifully.
Yeah, Synergy just desperately trying to get in, and that's when these shacks start to come into play. It's not ideally where you want to be, but you've got nowhere else to go.
Very tricky to find yourself a spot here. This is the field finish that Kalaris was talking about, and you've got those central features of the chopsticks. Really tricky to be moving around. Box still with a really strong compound on the eastern side. They're going to be trying to hold off against plenty of players. GXR Celts taking fight. Freestyle trying to push in as well.
And you got Kashuf over there in his jammies trying to make something happen, but BTR looking to send him to bed early.
Doesn't want to go to sleep just yet, though. The tires of his buggy just getting completely demolished there.
You can stay there, but you're not going anywhere else.
Exactly. They know exactly where you are. They know what you're up to. They know you don't have anything to be getting on with. Hang on a minute. Okay. No Chance team actually take a knock from the VSS at range from Kashuf, who was up on the hill behind the rock. Yeah. Now No Chance team, the 2 players who were in that bunker, suddenly they're down to 1. They're forced to res. This is an opportunity, potentially.
Yeah, BTR, I don't think they have recognized it. Team IND taking a couple of knocks, and then also a finish onto Kratos. That's from TSM Entity, who've crashed onto this location. This Reject Scarlet coming up against RRQ here.
And it looks like they're not going to be able to offer too much resistance. RRQ already finding plenty of damage out. A lot of kills going out on the western side as well, as it's all popping off all over the place, Blank.
Yeah, TSM Entity have now started to inject themselves into this game. It's really good to see. Wow, that's a really, really close grab there on the res. Barely just alive. Team IND with the knockback onto Neo. There's the nades coming through from RRQ, though, to finish off RCS. Reject Scarlet not having a good time.
Oh, definitely not. The bombardment does not stop. Another knock found. RRQ rain down hell from above. He wants the flush. He's sending over the hillside. And even the backup from Sarah across the way isn't going to be enough to stop them. RRQ will hold down their location.
Slayer, and I think 1 more player snacks here on the low. In the com, TSM Entity just completely picked them apart. Currently on 5 kills, but they haven't really gained too much of value. It's a shack, and there's so many teams have spotted them out now. How do they lead? There's a lot of vehicles around them, but they got to go fast. Out come the smokes.
Drop in that cover. The next circle comes through. Box still in the next zone. Synergy are going to be able to snake their way in further with just Austin left standing for the squad. We'll see if these teams have to, well, they do have to leave the chopsticks. We'll see how effectively they're able to do so. GXR aren't going to wait a single moment to do so.
There really isn't any room at all left in this circle. Beautiful nades coming over the top. Just send the shrapnel into You2.
Oh, goodness me. Drax catches a couple of bullets and unfortunately didn't have quite enough armor to resist. You2 gank go down. I said I wanted to take a look for them during this game and during their last games, but unfortunately, They're not going to be able to do too much. TSM Entity mounts up there right and strong, straight through the open fields. Plenty of explosions going through. And hang on a minute, have they all managed to make it?
I think just about. Clutch God is still wandering his way over. They found another shot themselves. I know, that is one hell of a razz. Saden going down too from King of Gamers.
How on earth did TSM Entity make that cross blank? That's absolutely insane. Straight over the heads of Bigatron, straight past everybody else who was looking their way. A completely known rotation, and they just managed to make it through the gauntlet. Goodness me, TSM Entity, they're coming alive, Blank.
I mean, the car's on fire, and seriously, those are some Hot Wheels from those guys to actually get all the way across the board. And they've even got Clutch God set up with an off angle too, so they were thinking miles ahead here, really, to make it happen. Nades are coming over the top, and now BTR starting to crawl out the chopstick. They have to leave this bunker that they had soon.
It's a bloodbath here, Blank. It's such an open finish as well that a lot of these teams have oversight. A lot of the rotations are going to be controlled. King of Gamers take a lot of punishment. It was actually RRQ to lose a player on the back as well. And so many snakes are going to be looking for these final circles in the field.
Yeah, and BTR now just snaking forward, like you said, slithering their way towards TSM Entity. TSM Entity trying to take quite a few fights at different angles. See Microboy just supporting his team, making sure they can move forward, crouching through the brushes, but T1, Box, there's so much action going on the northern side.
Box holding down their compound, break with the nades. The bombardment doesn't stop. RRQ had it earlier. Box are going to have it now. They're going to find yet another kill over towards RRQ, and in fact, Box completely wiped them out. That's RRQ eliminated down in 12th.
TSM Entity have to hold off BTR. This will be really the big moment for them. If they can take out BTR from the equation, they'll hold quite a bit of this western side, but currently BTR doing a lot of work on the TSM, a lot of damage, but it's BTR who's coming out on the worst end of it.
Taking a lot of damage from the sidelines as well, in fact. Oh dear, self-team nade there. It's going to take down 2 for TSM Entity. That's disastrous. Coming through, now it's Neo and Jonathan to try and stay up and alive. Bigatron across the way. Microboy's being spotted out, took half his HP there. They don't want to be taking this fight, and in fact, neither team really wants to be going for it.
He must have seen that.
Oh, he must have seen that past the edge of the smoke. Maybe not, doesn't want to take the shots just yet. If he can't confirm the kill, TSM get the res.
Yeah, and out comes a circle to the north side, so now BTR, they have to make a move on. Jonathan gets up, starts to spray food. Come on! None of the bullets finding them, though.
Oh, he's going to be able to land one, and that's going to give him an inclination as to where they are. Goes for the spray yet again, but he's suppressed here by Luxy. Nades can start to come through from the shack, and the rest of TSM Entity can enter the fight now.
No Chance Gaming also have a chance to come into this fight. They must have heard this Godless as well as Choconut towards the south side, but still this fight rages on.
Microboy goes down as well. Zuxi can't make the push, and now it's just Luxy alive for Bigatron. Beautiful. TSM Entity move on through. They're able to take out Bigatron. They hold them off, and they stay alive.
That is such a big moment for TSM Entity. Now they can start to move up to the north side. This is the day we said we'd like to see them do more. We're already starting to see it, but it's you level up to dash into this compound, trying to find some shelter for themselves, but it's not enough. They will go down in 5th.
Box is having one hell of a game right now, Blank. They are absolutely taking everybody down who steps towards them. They have control of the compound, but it's no chance now to try and step up towards TSM Entity. Jonathan's being knocked, Neo down. Very low, but no chance. Need to push. They're in the blue.
One player goes down from No Chance inside the blue, but there's absolutely hardly any meds whatsoever. You can see Jonathan just dropping them down for themselves. Z got here with just one first aid kit, and now they have to creep their way across the field, but look at all the protection that Box owns. Only 3 teams remaining, and it's the heavily damaged TSM Entity, and just Austin Ball, who's managed to make his way all the way to 3rd here, potentially.
How on earth has he managed that? We talked about how snakes can happen in these fields. That's exactly what is going to occur. Synergy having a really, really solid performance off the back of some sneaky plays. Fantastic stuff for Austin. But the real question for me, Blank, is can TSM Entity finish off this miracle run, or have they already done enough?
They're pretty spent in terms of resources. They're spent in terms of firepower too. And, you know, unless the circle makes a drastic move away from the Box Gaming, it's going to be terrible. Box Gaming currently with 16 kills, double what TSM Entity have on 8, and they're in 2nd in terms of kills here.
Goodness me, I said they were having a real strong game, but I had no idea it was that strong. 16 kills already. There's a couple more out there for them. The next circle looking to try and shift.
Good. It's good at least. It will create an interesting ending here, John.
Yeah, it's going to force Box finally to leave that compound that has gifted them so many points. They keep the sprays coming through the M249 as TSM Entity gets removed. And Austin makes it to second place. Synergy. Goodness me. What a turn up for them.
And now they're on the hunt. They have 4 players alive remaining in this circle. And Austin, I think he's just happy he secured this for themselves. But this is a massive game for Synergy. Remember that they're towards the bottom of the leaderboard. I believe it was towards 18th last game. And we said there's only a small amount of points they can leap you forward. They're in second. That's 14 points total. This might be enough if they can get a few more kills as well.
19 kills, a maximum possible of 20 if Austin doesn't go down to the blue here. I think the record was set over in West of 21 kills found by Kanina Power, but here they go. They want that big 2-0.
That's one!
Egg. As Break does go down. Austin finds one, hits the deck, and he is going to go down. Finally, Box able to finish it out. They get 20 kills. It's a 40-point game for Box Gaming.
That's why. That's insane. 40 points is
insane.
Beautiful to have on the board. You're really happy with that one.